Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the March 18th edition of the Dawn Patrol, day after St. Patrick's Day. I hope everybody had a happy St. Patrick's Day. I got my co-host friend Bob Hoey here, candidate for school committee. We were at the breakfast this weekend, Bobby, and saw our friend Ned. He looked pretty good, huh?
Oh, I had a great time.
But seeing Ned was great. I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Well,
and hopefully he's back here soon, you know.
I met McFadden.
Right.
Daniel McFadden. It's the first time I went up to her to say hi, and she said, hey, she straightened me out on an issue that I've been talking about, Tom.
Yeah.
How I said, I bet you Jackie Doherty or Connie Martin, one of those two, told her that they weren't running.
Yeah.
She said, Bob, you are wrong. So she straightened me out.
Yeah, she's not one of those. Yeah.
She's running on her own, and that only makes me like her more.
She told me to reach out to her, too, to get her on the show, so I'll do that the next week or so and see if we can get her on here.
Yeah, she's a nice gal.
Yeah, very nice gal.
She sat at the next table.
Yeah.
And she had a nice,
That pretty dress.
St. Patrick's Day dress on.
And she's just I can't see her in politics. She's too nice, but, you know, she...
No,
Yeah.
well, I think she has 3 children that go to the Pawtucket Memorial.
2 or 3, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just
Sweetheart.
I could talk about her for
I
about an hour.
I met her about 18 years ago. She was on the Salvation Army advisory board with me. That's how I got to know her. And she worked her way up at the chamber. And she's a very well-liked girl. Very well-liked girl. So, and there were some other people there we saw. I think there were a few other, but let's see, a lot of councilors were there. The only councilor I didn't see was, I don't think, well, the mayor wasn't there. I know he wasn't there, but...
Paul at the end did a pretty
He
good
did a great job. He did a great
replacing
job.
the mayor,
But
yeah.
the way he gave the zings and everything, that was pretty good. He did a great job with that, you know. And so we saw Eric as always, and
that
I
guy's
saw
not
Vesna
a-
Noon, of course. So yeah. Well, I didn't see Janess. I don't think he goes to anything. So
Reed is pretty tough to follow, too.
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
she can-
And it went a lot faster this year. I don't know if you guys were there last year, but it was a little drawn. And we talked about that. And Tommy Shanahan's a great guy, not a speaker. He admits that I know he was. That's not his. He didn't feel comfortable doing that, being as far as being a speaker.
Well, Tommy, could you hear? Our
Yeah,
section,
well, I was sitting right
we
there.
couldn't hear nothing.
Yeah, I've heard complaints
Speakers
about that.
over us, the bank of speakers over us was not working.
Well, you know what the problem is, and we're going to have a board meeting this week. We have to tell Rodney or who's ever up there, people are talking while they're speaking, things going on. And there's got to be a way to say to people, okay, please. And then Rodney finally did say that.
Tommy, the loudspeakers over us weren't working.
Yeah.
But
The whole bank of them weren't working. And I know Lindsay was working like crazy to get it fixed.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you want everything to work.
Sure.
Yeah, but, you know, you've been to a lot of those parties, Tom. I used to try to avoid them. I always tried to avoid alcohol. That's what I was most
Yeah.
of my life.
Yeah.
Except prison guards, you can't avoid them. We all drank out in the parking lot.
Right.
But we had a table next to us, all people at least my age or older, all women,
Yeah.
and they were on a roll.
Yeah.
They were having a great time.
Yeah.
You can't quiet that type of stuff down, really.
Because that was the only complaint I heard from some people about how
Yeah.
you know you couldn't hear the speakers when these people were talking. So, but
I didn't
we'll
feel
work on
that.
it.
I didn't feel that at all, though.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a great time.
Yeah.
Tommy, did you mention that Tony is not feeling tipped?
No, I didn't. We had Tony Selectman Tony Achinsky scheduled for 7 o'clock today, and unfortunately he's out a little bit under the weather, so I'm sure he'll be back here soon. And while we're on that subject, we have the finals for the papers were for this past Friday. I'm pleased to announce I'm lucky enough to be running unopposed for my second term on the Housing Authority. Tony, unfortunately, is going to have some opposition. Well, there's two incumbents up, Jennifer Kapansky and Tony, and we have another person he ran last year, Don Plummer. So Tony's going to have a race, which is unfortunate.
There's another position Lowell lost out to Drake. It was Mary Karabaktos.
No, yeah, it was with Mary
I
yesterday.
think of her as Mary Barrows.
Yeah.
Lowell should have had her, but I don't know why we didn't have her.
Now, was she Ray Barrow's daughter? Ray was an assessor in town.
No, in Lowell, her father was a fireman.
Okay, then they're probably related. Because I was talking with Mary yesterday. Mary's done in October.
Right.
So
Right across the street from Mary was Marty Meehan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could, on the same street. You go down a little bit, you got my friend Dan Durkin down there. That street was a pretty popular street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But Mary would have been great in the
Yeah.
Lowell housing.
yeah.
She would have been
well,
unbelievable.
she's, like I say, she's winding up. She'll be done in October. We'll be hopefully looking to hire, I know who I want. I want the person, her assistant, who's been her assistant for the last 15 years or so. I don't think we have to have a search. The girl's qualified. So let's see what happens. I mean, you know these searches, how they go, Bobby, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Tom, can I throw this out there?
No, go ahead, buddy.
This is one for John McDonough. He does so much for all of us in the city. But I seen on TV, John, down in Boston, Brimmer Street parking. One parking spot, $750,000.
I saw that in the Herald. Yeah.
Last year it was
Yeah.
a spot for $500,000.
Wow.
And when you think about the parking issues in Lowell, there's no doubt that should be held up over near the end of the connector.
Yeah.
There's just,
No, they passed it. It's
Did
it's
it?
gonna happen. They already bragging about it. It's okay.
well, I'll tell you this, too.
I want to see how the units are going to go. If say my wife and I were looking to live there, and we have 2 cars, no, we're not interested.
Well,
We
the
wouldn't.
neighborhood wants me to put a sign up
Say
on
that
the
again?
back of my property.
Oh,
There's no parking.
yeah,
There's no parking.
yeah.
There's
You
no
know-
parking for you.
You know the old A&L taxi building on Congress Street, right?
Yep, yep.
I work for A&L, J&N. That land, most of that street, Congress Street, is owned by, I call the king of condos, in Lowell, the builders. Think of somebody.
Yeah.
Think of him. I'm trying to.
Alan Kazanjian.
There you go.
There you go. Oh,
He hasn't even. He just got done a real bad surgery. See, and I'm someone that likes to give an opinion.
Yeah.
And I look at the future and I see what my son's doing, building over at St. Louis, 21 units in a church, and then I hear John McDonough all the time talk about parking, constantly, right?
And Alan's
he's so right.
rehabbing that, right? Up on Congress Street, he's doing that whole, he has that property, right?
Oh,
Did I
he
hear
owns that, but I
That's what I thought.
I
yeah.
can't wait for the day demolition of the old A&L taxi,
Mm.
because the Petron family, that when they originally built that thing, there's so much rebarb in that cement, I can't wait to see who has to tear that place down.
Wow, that's going to be a
But
tough
wait
one.
till he starts to build,
Yeah,
because he just come off a heavy injury,
yeah.
And,
Did Alan Kazanjian buy the A&L stuff?
Yeah.
oh, he owns,
Yeah.
I heard he owns almost the whole street of Congress.
That's what I was told.
Rumors,
That's what I
yeah.
was, he's going to, I don't know if it's going to be
He's got the
combination.
Midas touch. He'll make it
Well,
happen.
yeah.
combination of retail.
And he-
That's what I heard.
So can you picture what it will be like then, near the connector?
Yeah.
So growth, there's no doubt about it. I think we're already
And
probably.
just a nice, humble guy, Alan.
Great guy,
I mean, you
great
talk
guy.
to him, and he's just, he's a Draketeer. I once said to him,
Good
you know,
bus- good
he went members of the
businessman.
city council. I said to him, you should run for selectman. I'm done. He said, no.
I don't blame him. So yeah, Brimmer Street parking. It's like a condo.
Yeah, yeah.
750,000.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
so,
Yeah, and then
Well, what the city council should do,
did you
now
see
if the
city
good weather's
council?
here, they should park in the city garages and walk to City Hall for their city council meeting. So there'd be parking for the residents. See, the people who live in downtown have more parking if the city council didn't hog the parking spaces around City Hall for their meeting. They should just park in the city garage.
So all
No,
boards and
Any
commissions?
garage they like.
All
Any-
board-
Any garage, and see how they like it.
that's why I brought that up about the parking, because just right across the street, school I went to 4 times. We all know what I did over there.
Yeah.
But they put all those nice modulars in.
Yeah.
They're really nice. Believe me, we used to have things like that in the prison that can house people pretty well.
Sure.
But no, they didn't replace the parking. Parking's terrible around here.
Yeah.
And he does a lot for the teachers, this guy here with his parking.
Sure.
Trying to help people
Oh, yeah.
out. And it's hard running a business doing that. And
Yeah.
so I've been hit with that a lot too. Is your buddy John McDonough, is he running or what? I go, listen, I hope
He's
doesn't."
got time to make a decision.
Hey,
I goes-
here's
Yeah,
the
in other words,
deal.
you're running if nobody else runs.
Here's the
right, John?
deal on that, okay? I don't care if you live in Pawtucketville, Centerville, that stretch of District 4, or you live in downtown Lowell, or you live on Back Central, I don't care where you live. If you got a grandchild, granddaughter, grandson, in their 40s, it's a nice job, 25 grand a year, 1 meeting a week. Summertime, it's every other week. Not a bad gig. Convince them to run for city council. I'm an old buckaroo. I had my day. This is my hobby doing this TV show. I don't want to run for city council, but the lackluster performance we're getting from our district councilor, I've had it up to here with. The Heinz project put me over the top, that we can't have this kind of thing. Where they're gonna put a baby skyscraper on Gorham Street with no parking. Oh, there's parking, there's 13 parking spaces, there's 80 people gonna live in the building. Oh, they won't have cars, who are you trying to kid?
Right, right.
So that put me over the top. I've had it. Wayne Janess did nothing to prevent it. The city council went like, oh, yes, we love this, Mr. Manager. Such a good idea. More revenue for the city. Screw the citizens. We don't care if they have a place to park. Pay your taxes. Oh, by the way, let's give Greedy Golden an extension on his contract. So
So,
I'm not happy.
no, I know you're not happy, but now, did they have any choice? Because I'm reading that this was a law that, or a bylaw that was put in that was some type of.
They're
in the
starting to
area.
figure out that law.
Yeah.
That law's,
No, the law, okay,
I mean, did they have a,
We
if
both know-
they rejected it, would
we
it?
both know Phil Tebow.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm out to dinner with Phil. Say, Phil, you're a drinketeer. You're an architect. They're building in these properties for the trains, MBTA, yeah. How many parking spaces are required? Oh, 2 per unit. I says, how come in Lowell, it's 0? He says, that's what Lowell opted for. So Lowell opted for a flight with no seats.
Right, right.
And Drake is requiring 2 seats, 2 parking spaces per unit.
Sure.
And Lowell could have adopted that,
Yeah,
but they said, nah, the heck with it.
yeah.
And now, Eric Gitches wants to rethink about it, and that's gonna come back on the council floor
Ah,
at
speaking
the
of the devil.
speed of government, I'll bet you.
Speaking of the devil, did you happen to see Erin,
Eric, how are you? You
Erin
wanna talk?
Gendron there?
I'll help you out here.
All right,
The one that's
I'll
running
turn
for,
this thing up.
the girl that's running for council, she was at the party the other day
yeah,
in district.
yeah. I
district.
got her name right there for
Yeah.
you, yeah. I can't wait.
Okay, Eric, you're on, baby.
Good morning, Bob.
Hi,
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Tommy.
How are you?
Good. So the MBTA thing. Drake has different parking requirements on their, in their zoning than we do. So the MBTA thing basically said, you can't make anything stricter than what your zoning bylaws were when when the MBTA was put in place. Ours was 0.5 parking spots per unit. And somehow we were led by DPD that said in the MBTA thing, the wording they used was you can provide up to 0.5, which was a change from our zoning that got by us. And
How did it
so
get to be
that's
0.5,
the
Eric?
change.
How did it, what a stupid thing to do to begin with, 0.5. Who the hell has 0.5? How did we get there?
Where have you been for the last 20 years, John? It's been there. That's the problem. Like
Well,
you said,
why don't we
who
fix
has
that?
0.5 cars? I agree with you.
We gotta fix it. But please
Well-
continue, sorry.
let me interrupt for just a second. Are you jogging or eating right now?
I was eating breakfast.
All right. Well, good for you, buddy.
The problem is that zoning's been there. So, John, even if you change the zoning now, you still have to adhere to the one that was in place when the MBTA bylaws were put in place by the state. So we can go back up to 0.5. That's as far as we can go.
Wow, that's weird.
Well, you guys painted yourself into that corner, and I'm telling you, I'm coming after you guys. It's wrong. It's wrong. You guys should have to park in a city garage to attend a city council meeting and see how you like it.
I can walk there. It doesn't bother me. I don't really care. But
Okay.
at the end of the day, I agree with you, John, that the 0.5 initially in the zoning was, and it should have never been there, but it's been there for a very long time. When they did the when DPD came to us with this, oh, you have to take it, and we read it, what slipped by me was the up to 0.5. I thought it was the same as it was in the zoning. It said 0.5. So that was my question to them every time is it says 0.5, and they said, Eric, it says up to.
Hey, Eric.
And they give the builder the I don't even know why it says anything. If you're giving the builder the discretion to go up to, why would you even write anything? Just put, you don't need any requirements because you don't.
So Eric, in Lowell, is it the city council that approves zoning changes? Because in Drake, we obviously have town meeting, and it would have to be a town meeting, it would be voted to town meeting if you want to change the zoning bylaw. How does it work in Lowell?
Same thing. Well, it goes to an ordinance. So an ordinance, the public has the right to speak, but ultimately the city council takes that vote.
Sure.
Yeah, and
You want to read this comment?
yeah, can I say one? Let me read that, please.
Good.
Even if the Heinz project had parking, it's a very bad location. The end of the connector is a mess most of the day. Well, let me tell you, after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, no matter where you live, it's a mess. Cars are coming through Lowell. It's a cut through for so many different cities. It's nuts. But Eric, you sounded nice and clear. Can you tell me more about, you got a party coming up? John advertises it, but I haven't gripped it yet. Is it the 27th?
Yeah, it's the 27th at Mount Pleasant, 5:30. We're holding our first campaign kickoff party there, so hopefully we have the same luck we've had the past two terms, and people show up and we can get reelected to a seat that we really enjoy.
Yeah, well, I hope you have a big crowd, buddy, and I'm going to spread the word as much as I can, because what you've done for this city, since you've been a city council, you deserve a large crowd,
My opinion is Mount Pleasant's too small for him. They have to get a bigger hall.
Well, while we're talking about, before he slides away here, and Eric, thanks for calling and taking I know I'm not an easy guy to talk to sometimes. What would it
Well,
take
like
to
John
change,
said-
what's it gonna take to change this, to make it 2 parking spaces per unit? What's it gonna take?
We'd have to, for the MBTA, we're not going to be able to do it now. Unless, Tewksbury and them are pushing back, unless they win some ruling that says it's not lawful.
So right now, you guys the city council collectively have decided you need 0 parking spaces to build any unit in Lowell. And there's all kinds of rumors that you're gonna build these baby skyscrapers with 50, 80 units in them with no parking. Is there any mindset to fix this, or we're just gonna let it go, the hell with the citizens? Any mindset to fix this?
The most we can do, as I outlined in the beginning, is we can come in and say, look, we can go to the 0.5 parking spot, which is the original, it's the original requirements. So that's all we can do. We can't change it to more now that we see, which to me handcuffs government, as you're saying. As we see problems, they're called working documents, and some councilors don't understand what a working document is and what policies are. Policies are made to be changed if you see an outcome that doesn't fit what the original policy was meant to be. And I think that that's where changes have to come in. They're not one-time decisions like tear down, the Smith Baker. That's a one-time decision. But when you look at policies, they're working documents, and you should be able to review them in time and make the changes that best fit a neighborhood and a community. And we're not being allowed to do that. And I agree with you. That's why I filed that motion.
So, moving forward, from what you understand, we're stuck with 0.5. Now, Danny Tenza, he's on the zoning board or whatever board meeting I was at that granted this to happen. And even the chair of that board said it is all about revenue. It's all about more revenue for the city. And I just think it's unfair to the public. But the point, Danny Tenza, God bless him, he brought up, it says 0.5. We don't even have 0.5 for this project. And they still passed it. So there's confusion amongst your board members.
As you know, in Drake,
The zoning people, whether it's the appeals or the zone, there's confusion as to what the regulation is.
as you know, I'm sure you guys know about the project that was going on in Drake, and the residents have been appealing that. It's still,
400 units.
But how come, could you guys, somebody in Lowell appeal this
No,
decision?
Lowell wants the revenue.
No, could a resident appeal this decision?
Hey.
Say you
They don't, I
want
was down there. They didn't care.
Oh.
Can
I
I-
go down there and I says to the guy, well, the girl, Catherine Flood, nice woman. She's the lawyer for
Yeah.
the builder. And she says, well, how about you approve the project except for this little glitch we have? And they said, yeah, okay, let's pass it. I'm standing there pleading with them. Hey,
Yo,
why should
excuse,
you give any permission to this thing at all?
excuse me, before we lose Eric, get you. Eric, I went down on St. Patty's Day to see the South Common, around the church, around the Elliott School. It's amazing how clean it looked, how very few were hanging around, and who wasn't bothering anybody, and they cleaned up the place. Unbelievable. To me, it's unbelievable. I know it's early, and the test will be how it goes through the spring and the summer, but I want to, you deserve it, man. To me, you took the lead on that, and I know we're not totally done, but nice job to the city council and the mayor on the South Common.
to? Yeah, it looks great. It does
We're
look
very
great.
proud of that area right now, but the ultimate goal was to challenge people to get help. And I think that that's really where we're pushing, and to give the kids a learning environment over at the STEM Academy. And I think kudos to our police department, kudos to our city manager and the staff. But I don't think it ever should have gotten that way. But in hindsight, you look and say these are decisions that we needed to make sooner, and we're still pushing forward. On John's end about the city making money on the MBTA stuff, that was a state decision to take over the property. We all had to put an MBTA outline if it came through, right? So it was never about making money, as whoever said that. Today,
That's me.
builders are making the money. We don't make money in government on your tax revenue. People believe that if a government is functioning properly, it should be a break-even point. But somehow we end up with extremely large sums of money in free cash at the end, which is never free. It comes from you. And that's what we have to determine is, do we have too many people? Do we have, why are we ending up with these numbers, and are we overtaxing people? That's really where we're at. But, those buildings and stuff, you still need a quality of life, and that's the most important piece.
Who's the developer? Is it a local developer?
Doesn't
Eric?
make it could be Larry, Curly, and Mo. It's not the development. It's an opportunity. And the speed limit sign in Lowell says you can do this. And this guy's aware of it. His lawyer's aware of it. And they're taking advantage of it. I would too.
Exactly. Exactly
I'm not gonna
what
blame
John's
the
saying.
builder.
It's an opportunity in Massachusetts to take advantage, and they're going to do it all the way along between ADUs and the MBTA outliers. That's what's going to happen.
Want me to read this, John?
Yeah, read that too.
Eric, we got a text on TV. I'm sorry, but the end of the connector has been a disaster for decades. Wake up, people. The city of Lowell do not care about the citizens. Just look how the Baker Center is being handled, Jim.
Well, I mean, again, in my opinion, and I didn't overlay that project, but the end of the connector should end at Thorndike Street. Cut it off there, and that very end piece should be changed into maybe parking or something. But, I mean, that end is just ridiculous, dumping into the bottom of
horrible.
Grand Street like that.
I agree.
And again, John, you were the only person from the neighborhood that showed up to that meeting,
No,
basically?
Mike Zame came too. Mike Zame,
Yeah, but there wasn't like 50 people there. There was just a small, there was
But no, they did the typical thing. They had a public hearing. Well, the public hearing's gonna be this date.
Yeah.
So all the neighborhood gets rabble-roused, and they
you get a-
canceled it.
You get a letter in the mail.
They canceled it.
Oh,
And it was up to you to find out when you were gonna be back on the agenda. I mean, the communication
Oh.
that the zoning board has is terrible.
see, in Drake, you would be getting another letter.
No,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
already
yeah.
notified them.
Wow, wow.
Not necessary, screw the public.
Wow.
Hey, Eric, thanks for calling in,
Before he
buddy.
goes, anything good on the agenda tonight?
Thank you,
Hey,
guys. Have
John wants to know if there's anything good on the agenda tonight.
Everything's good. We'll keep him in suspense. He should watch.
That's right. I'll be watching, that's for
Eric,
sure.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank
Nice
you.
seeing you,
Have a good
Sadie.
day.
Nice
Thanks,
seeing you.
buddy.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You know, that's what, I think that's why we should be really happy. you definitely see my neighborhood, Tom, my District 3, how many people are running, it's up to 4
No,
now.
I told you, we talked about Erin Gendron, she was at the, I think her name's Erin, was at the, member of the Board of Health, she was at the party on
Well, I
Saturday.
sat next to Danny Finn. He wants to come on the show, too.
Yeah,
so.
you got Danny
Danny was
Finn.
there? Was Danny at the party?
Yeah,
Danny
yeah,
Finn was
yeah,
sitting next to me,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow. So you
Sure,
got, you're up,
Corey Belanger was there.
you're up to 4
Everybody was there.
candidates?
It was a good party.
Yeah, and this
Wow.
woman right here.
yeah, okay, I heard about her too. Wow, this is gonna
And
be
the food
quite a
was-
race.
Food was delicious.
Yep.
How would
And,
you pronounce
As
that?
I said, the only
Jurin,
thing,
I think.
I didn't, we couldn't hear a doggone thing, even if we shut up. Because I'm sitting with Ned. Ned was next to me and Dan Finn was the other side of me. And we would shut up and try to listen.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear.
Yes, you were right in front. We
Yeah,
walked out.
you had to see the table next to where he was.
So they,
You'd have to see
but you
it.
said when Mike was trying to get it fixed, but to no avail? You
Well,
said-
they had, like,
Yeah.
when something breaks, we call my kid.
Yeah.
And he runs around getting us
Yeah.
fixed. I mean, stuff happens, you know, it's a big event, or we have a big funeral going on, and the speaker doesn't work in a certain room. They tried jury rigging things.
Yeah.
And, so you don't fix something unless it's broken.
Right,
And
right.
it was working yesterday perfect,
Yeah.
so I'm sure that everything was working the day before, but
So we're up to 4 candidates in District 3, you said,
Yeah,
Bobby?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still early. You might
Yeah.
even get another one or two. You never know.
Well, you
Yeah.
can't pull papers until June.
Yeah,
I talked,
but it's-
I called the guy who runs the election commission office. That's why I'm glad I know Eric, Greg Pappas. But the new guy doesn't really know what's going on. Because I call up and I said, when can I pull papers? He says, I think it's June.
I think it's June.
used the
And he's
word,
the
"I
head
think."
guy? Wow.
I think it's June.
Holy cow.
So I says, now, the signatures, can anybody sign who lives in the city or just in the district? He says, I think anybody can sign that's a voter.
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
my understanding is otherwise, but I'm not going to, I'm calling asking
Well,
this.
Greg would probably answer that question better for you.
But, well, Greg had an argument with, my takeaway from when Greg comes in like every 60 days.
Yeah, he was in here.
So, my takeaway from it wasn't really an ask. They had a gentleman's disagreement.
Yeah.
Between him and Tom Golden. And Greg's takeaway was, the people who sign your papers have to live in your district.
Yeah.
That was Greg's understanding of the regulation. And Tom Golden looks at it a different way. Tom Golden's the boss, so we had to do it Tom Golden's way. Any Tom, Dick, and Mary could sign. But my takeaway after the show was over is, if this ever went to court, I think Golden's side would lose.
Yeah. I think it would only make sense that the ones, like a state rep, I can't sign Rodney Elliott's papers. I can only sign Colleen Gary's papers.
Because you live in a district.
Right.
And that's my takeaway too, but
Right.
And when
it's
you-
Lowell.
Yeah.
Signatures are beautiful
It's
anyways.
Lowell.
You'll have
Let's just extend his contract, yeah, that's.
you'll ask someone for a signature and you'll give them your clipboard and they'll sign their name, their daughter's name, their wife's name, one person does. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's the way voting too.
We
Why
need the
don't?
40-year-olds, I don't care if you live in Belvedere,
Yeah.
you live in the Highlands, I don't care where you live, you need to ask your grandkid, 40 years old, to run for city council. We need better politicians, we need better elected leaders in Lowell.
So I just want to mention this because I just mentioned Colleen Gary's name. It's on Facebook, so it's not like I'm talking out of school here. That Colleen, I guess, is in the hospital. She's asking for prayers. That we don't know what's going on, but her sister posted this morning that Colleen is in the hospital. So,
Wow.
but it's like I say, it's not. I'm not talking to. I just want to make sure that I did see this, and I mean, if you want me to read what the sister wrote, I mean, it's.
Go ahead, yeah.
Hi all, this is Kathleen writing for Colleen. Colleen said to thank everyone for their prayers and love as she is in the hospital. Special thanks to Katie for staying at the house with her kitties so that she doesn't have to worry. Hopefully it will be a short stay, but they're not sure whether surgery will be needed or not. Keep the prayers coming. So just prayers out to Colleen and hope everything's okay. And I think, was she there? Was she there? I don't know. Was she
No,
there?
I didn't see her.
No.
I saw Tara Hung there,
Yep.
of course Rodney was there.
Anna Howard.
I didn't see the Cowardly Lion.
No, well,
That's Vanna Howard.
She was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was, yeah.
I
yeah.
missed her.
At the Cowardly Lion.
I missed her.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, her name up, because I called Ed Kennedy actually yesterday.
He wasn't there, yeah.
I was on the phone with him for a good half hour.
Yeah.
He returns your calls. He returns mine. A lot
Yeah.
of times his phone will be loaded with messages, but I just called him to ask him how he's doing.
Yeah.
I know he's got rotor cuff problems, you know,
Yeah.
which
Did he have the
pretty
surgery yet?
I'm not
you
sure
didn't
about
ask him?
that.
Okay.
But I just said, "How are you?" That's all.
Yeah.
How's everything going? He goes, "Good." I said, "You staying busy?" He's got over 40 pieces of whatever they
Legislation?
call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got about 40 different issues that he's dealing with right
Mm-hmm.
now. And we're lucky to have him down there. I'm
Yeah.
telling you right now, because
Oh,
we
yeah?
don't have much more down there. You know, for
Well,
Lowell.
and everybody, if you're following it, people are getting out left and right. They just had it with politics. I mean,
Well, they're
I think
waiting.
he told me when he won re-election, he's moved up in seniority already so fast because so many people have left or run for other offices. And in fact, there's a senator, I think, I read in the Herald this morning, Peter Durant. He's seriously thinking about running for governor next year against Maura Healey. So
Well, I remember when Stevie Panagiotakis came in, when he made the decision he was going to step back and get out of being the senator. And one of the primary reasons he was quitting is because the way the state's, it's not sustainable. The state is not going to be able to afford itself.
yeah,
The weight of the obligations that the state's got to pay, they're not going to be able to keep paying that.
yeah,
And they all know it down the State House. So they're jumping ship before it sinks.
You know, I worked for 4 different mayors. I've said that before. For 2 years, you sit on the school committee with them. And Ed Kennedy, by far, was the best mayor I worked with out of the 4, without a doubt. And you look at senators, Eileen Donahue, Steve Panagiotakis, which he mentioned.
yeah.
I would never think anybody could outdo Pangy in my lifetime anyway, especially when you look at the Hoey family. We've done very well. Some of us have done very well hanging
Sure.
around or working for Pangy.
Sure.
But I can say this, right now, to me, Ed Kennedy is very capable of surpassing him on getting things done. And I can't believe over that one issue, there's that many people that dislike the guy. And it's all over, you know what, where the high school was
It's
built.
never going to go away. Bob.
No, I
Well,
know
10
it's.
years ago, we'll be
listen,
sitting here and
listen.
we'll just talk about the high school.
Hey, it might not go away, right? But I go like this: get over it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
get
it's
over
right.
it.
And I see this, and I want to say that and some of these are my friends. I get over it, but it's not going to change.
No, but when you have
Comment from
city,
the audience, we got, Jim sends this text in, this picture off his phone. This is the original design of the Lowell Connect. It was supposed to go all the way to downtown Lowell. And it just never happened. So this is an old picture.
Yeah,
It's an old picture of what the connector should have been. It was supposed to terminate that, and what happened was the neighborhood get up in arms, and that's why it ends on Gorham Street.
you got
The
it.
neighborhood got ticked off, and the idea was pulled back.
And what Eric said, I think, is a great idea.
Thanks, Jim.
Have them bail out on Thorndike Street and make
Yeah.
that like it should be.
State doesn't care. They're going to put a rotary at the end of the connector. They're taking away 2 people's driveways. Okay, and I said, how can you take away somebody's driveway? It's not a legal driveway. I says, they bought the freaking house with a driveway. You put a traffic light in for them, and you're telling me it's not a legal driveway? No, it's not. We can take it away anytime we want. That's what the state says.
Yeah. So,
and going back to the high school issues, so I'm hearing, I've heard that they're having some serious issues with the construction down there. Was it a flooding problem or something?
the water problem,
Yeah,
water
yeah,
issue.
yeah.
But Eric is on top of that too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at that guy right there, Eric Gitcher, he does city council wise. Now, we've had a lot of city councilors over the years. Tom, you've known many.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe when we do an evaluation, see, I like evaluations, I really do. Because then it gives you an opportunity to say to your boss, what are you calling me? What do you mean I don't get exceeds? I deserve exceeds compared to that guy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's labeled the same. They're afraid to give someone that high honors, let's say, you know, like
Right.
he exceeds his job. And it used to get to me because I knew how hard I would work.
It's like Dick Howe, and a lot of people didn't like him, but he was like a watchdog, sort of like Rodney Elliott, a watchdog. You
Yeah,
know.
they say watchdog. There's another one that kills me, right?
Yeah.
they'll complain in front of the TV about, I don't want to give a teacher, let's say, a pay raise. Teachers don't deserve the money, Mr. Hoey, right? But then they vote for it at the end.
And you know what it gets?
It's all about votes, right?
When people say they only work 180 days a year, is that what school year
Yeah, I
is?
hate that.
That's BS. I mean, that's BS. I wouldn't want to be a teacher. I mean, the days, I mean, they're not, what time is school in? 3:15 or whatever? And they're past 3:15.
You know, Tom, it's a simple thing, really. When you think about a teacher, when someone says that to me, the bottom line is this. If you had a mother and father, and your mother and father were in good shape, and they got along together, everything was cozy, yeah. But if your mother and father divorce, you lose your mother, your father dies, anything like that.
Yeah.
Teachers, then come see me, see
Yeah.
what a teacher does for
Yeah.
people, okay?
Yeah.
Even retired teachers.
Yeah.
I'll say this, if I ever sit in front of a negotiation table again, which I've done about 4 times in my life, I will make sure a tutor, that's a retired teacher, and I want them to have at least 30 years' experience. I'd give them a $10 raise right away. Instead of $40 an hour, they'll get $50 an hour.
Right,
And I'd
right.
find a way to get the money.
Tommy, you want to read this one?
I hope everything works out for Miss Gary. Get well, Jim.
I also added the screen prayers for Pauline, for Colleen.
That's terrible,
yeah.
that type of stuff. And every family gets hit with something, huh? It's craziness, yeah.
So let's just talk about Drake a little bit. I talked briefly at the beginning. We have an election coming up in May. We have a selectmen's race. There are two incumbents up, and there's one challenger, Don Plummer. There's a school committee race, two incumbents, and I believe I don't know the person's name, unfortunately. There is a person running for school committee. And we're going to have a new moderator because George Meliaris decided not to run again. And I'm unopposed, and I think there's a library trustee position that might be unopposed. So it would have been a real quiet election, but they have two challenges for school committee and selectmen. I think, my opinion is that I think the incumbents will win, meaning both selectmen. They're both on opposite sides of the fence on issues, but Jennifer's been a very, not a rabble-rouser, you know what I mean? Very quiet. She does her job, but quietly. And hopefully, we know Tony should win easily. So we'll see what happens, but,
And the thing that has me excited, Karen Cassell is all over, that's behind me, right?
Yeah.
Getting a guy like Eric Gitch, I remember at one time saying on this show, Eric could never win citywide. And then what does he do? When he hears it, he comes out and runs citywide.
Yeah.
And then he wins, right?
Yeah.
Well, when this girl, Danielle McFadden, just came out,
Yep.
we didn't have anybody running for the schools.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
run against the two incumbents that were
Yeah.
there. And now she's running. I said, I have to throw my name in.
Yeah.
I want to see Danielle McFadden, which I'll predict early, will top the ticket.
Oh,
Then
wow.
you're going to have the three of us,
Walk
Connie
away with
Martin,
it.
Jackie Doherty, and myself, looking to be number 2.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful time.
If they both
Listen,
run for re-election.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope they do. They deserve it. Both good people. They
Now,
worked
who do
hard
you
in their
think,
life.
let's just
but-
pretend they don't run. And who do you think anybody else would throw their hat in?
Well, I think because of what Daniel McFadden has done,
Yeah.
nobody was going to run against those two. It's almost
Well,
impossible.
you're running. And
I'm running.
But I mean, I'd be interested to see if
but I
anybody
don't
else would throw their hat in.
They don't announce my name, and I don't care because I didn't formally announce yet.
Yeah.
That Danielle did it, and she did it on Inside Lowell. And
you
I
probably
do it
better
right. I do it right here every week on
Yeah.
City Life Show and
Yeah.
the Dawn Patrol. But I'll take a spot when I feel like it.
Sure.
And stand there like I did before in front of, let's say, the high school. I won't stand in front of that right now, though. But I'm really happy for Lowell, and people don't understand what your kid can get.
Yeah.
I can prove it to you what my granddaughter got out of Lowell.
Yeah.
And Lowell High and the Pine School and you Lowell and a nice job. I mean, it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. And
Yeah.
I hope we start to pull together like that instead of the city side saying, I told you so.
What will you do about?
I told you so.
What will you do about the aggravation that these kiddos cause in class and get away with it?
John, you want to keep rolling. Discipline
Go
to
ahead.
me, and that's what, where I get all my information, by the way, when it comes to schools. Certain teachers, That's where I go. I asked them, what's the big issue in our system? How can we make it better? Now, Liam Skinner, to me, is a tremendous guy when it comes to discipline and having his students respect people. Just look at the way he run the daily school for years. So it's easy for a school committee person to be supportive of Liam Skinner right now because discipline's number one. But it's about reading. I don't want to get into that, but that's the first thing we have to do. Has to go down there preschool, first grade, because they're not getting it at home, I'm sorry. And I go back to my mother being 16 when she had me. Sometimes people don't know how to mother or how to father.
Right.
I wasn't the best father either. Thank God I married the woman I did.
Right.
But, what's this? The state needs to widen Route 113 from Drake Post Office to 93. The sewer covers on the road are brutal.
Tony brought this up at the last one of the selectmen's meeting, and I know we asked the town manager to address it, so if I was Tony, I'd be calling her and see, 'cause I
Well,
remember
you
him.
want me to get you to give you guys a call? I can do that.
But yeah, I remember Tony talking about that he had got complaints, and this had to be 2 or 3 meetings ago, and the manager was going to follow up on it, so we'll see what happens, you know what I mean?
You can't tell the state what to do. Here's what the state does. You call the state up. I have an issue for you. Could you hold on for a second? They put you on speaker. Go right ahead. The state, you got to know somebody to get something done at the state.
Well, then they should call Colleen, obviously, but yeah, Colleen would be the person to call and drag it, you know?
If I have a problem with a road, I will call Mark Kratman. Say, hey, Mark, this is a situation. Mark will look into it. Mark will move. Mark can get mountains moved.
Yeah.
So Mark Kratman is the guy to talk to about Route 113.
Yeah.
It's his district. He can we're never going to do it because of this, that, and he'll tell you why.
You know, what's on my mind right now is going back to
Good, Boogie.
Lindsay's and me and you at the chicken pie fight there.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
He called me. I'm at Foxwoods. All of a sudden, the phone. Mike Lindsay, he's telling me the whole story. How you came out. And
Yeah.
He wanted us to put the chicken pie up here just to advertise it on the. He has the best chicken pie. You know?
What about the chicken pie?
I'll tell you, and well, I bought a little one at Market Basket and I threw it out on Facebook and
Yeah.
Tom said, you haven't had a chicken pie until you have one at Lindsay's. And I've had their chicken pie at parties there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I never had their frozen pie.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how good the chicken is.
Oh,
I'll say that
yeah,
to you,
yeah.
inside that pie. But
Market Basket's a good substitution. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say that, but you can't beat Lindsay's.
I went
you know?
out to Lindsay's that morning and I
Yeah.
seen Mike and
Yeah.
Well,
I
this
said,
deserves a Facebook taste test.
yeah. I said, do you have mashed potatoes? They have a large mashed potatoes.
Oh, you got to have mashed
But
potatoes with your
the
corn,
frozen
with
chicken pie, the real good part of it is the crust they give you with it. Comes separated. You cook the pie, and when the pie's all cooked, you put the crust on top.
I'll have it for breakfast. I'll have it for breakfast.
It
I don't
is
care.
good stuff. I'll give you the nod, Tom.
Yeah,
I'll
but
give you
he
the nod.
called me. He said, Bobby Hoey, your friend just left here. I says,
Bobby, where did you do St. Patrick's Day?
I had Kilkenny's Pub.
How was it?
It was great. I got a meal in my refrigerator still, another one.
We drove by and it was packed.
Yeah, it was packed.
He did a good business.
I went to the back door. I did. I went to the back door because there was no parking.
yeah.
So I parked in the rear.
And he does every 17th of the month call me for cabbage. Is that correct?
Not everyone.
Oh, okay.
Not
I
everyone.
thought he heard that.
No,
He
but
did.
it was really good. I'm kind of fussy. I like the gray.
Oh, it was a gray or red?
Yeah, it's gray.
I love
you
gray.
know, yeah.
Oh, my wife and I won't eat anything else. And the Sports Zone, that's where we went last night. It was out of this world. In fact, she started
Where'd you
selling
go?
it. Sports Zone.
Okay.
Where is
She
that,
started
by the
selling
way?
it. Tennis Plaza,
Oh, yeah,
O'Hara's, you know
yeah.
that. And she started selling it Thursday. She puts her specials on Thursday. And
How much?
$15.95, I think it was.
Not bad.
Yeah, yeah. So we had that Thursday night, and then we had it last night. It was yesterday afternoon we went, and it was had a couple of scotches, and you know.
You know, John, getting back real quick before the first show's gone, when you said, what are you going to do? Want me to read
Go
that
ahead,
first?
go ahead, go ahead.
Mr.
Keep your mind
Mr.
set.
Get Your Services are wanted on Elm Street, snow jump. Yeah,
What's that mean, snow jump?
it's just a bad dip in the road.
Oh,
They
okay.
fixed the one up at Lowell Cemetery.
There's one on-
Eric
there's
already
one-
chimed in on that, looked into it, and 2026 is when the city's gonna get around to fixing that.
Get out of here. Because there's a bad dip on Merrimack Street up near, wow.
The city doesn't care. Oh, let me check the list.
Well, the downtown council should be addressing these issues, not Eric.
What a bunch
Yeah.
of...
Well,
You
Eric's
know-
citywide, that's
We
right.
need better
I take
elected
that back.
officials. But Bobby, you were telling a story. Go back to
Yeah,
your...
no, now you got me thinking of the roads and the potholes, and I look back at Mike O'Malley. I keep saying his name because he deserves to be noticed. He retired. He used to do the potholes with a 1-ton dump truck with no tailgate on it and used the wheels as his roller with very few good tools, and nobody, and I mean nobody, could outwork the man. Nobody.
We're missing him this year.
Yes, when you lose a person, and he doesn't have the equipment they have now. They got hot stuff now. They got some good machinery to help the
I remember the
potholes.
city council bragging about it. They
I
just
swear,
don't know how to operate
I
their
swear when
plant.
I was a health inspector back in the late 70s in Lowell, he was working for the, was he a
He
long-time
was
city
an
employee?
unbelievable
Yeah.
employee,
Yeah.
and I just like to keep saying his name.
Yeah.
But it's a big job, and this was we've had a lot of water. Like the other day, almost 2 inches. That's a lot of water.
Oh, a lot of rain yesterday,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
grounds are soft right now.
Yeah.
You know, don't drive into the yard. You're gonna ruin your driveway if it's all grass and dirt. It's
Sure,
bad.
sure.
And if you get a little water in your cellar, and this is the time it happens. You'll get a little bit. And don't get scammed. You know, people waterproofing basements, that's as bad as hot topping and roofing, to be scammed.
No, was she at the dinner the other?
Yeah, she was there.
I didn't see, I
You
didn't
wanna
meet her.
get back,
I didn't
her
meet
name
her.
is Belinda
Duran, I think,
Duran.
yeah. Oh, Urine, what, sometimes the J's.
I met her.
Yeah.
And it's funny because
She's an
I
attorney, I believe.
I met her, and right away I say to them, you know, who I'm supporting, Dan
Tom
Finn.
Cassidy gave you a thumbs up this morning.
Oh, and there you go. See, this comes in right on time. Here we are talking about District 3 city councilors. Tom Cassidy called in. He's the one that fired me up right away because I know my friend Tom Cassidy as good as anybody, and he's for Gendron.
Yeah.
That scares me. Now I got to
What?
go work harder. But let me just say this. But Tom, I'm for Finn. And then there's a whole lot of people for Corey Belanger. And then my sister at the party
It's gonna be quite
is
a-
hugging this
We're gonna get,
Belinda Juran.
Yeah.
Juran. And my sister supports her. So District 3 is like, it's going to be
that's gonna be an
unbelievable.
interesting.
Belvedere.
No,
Belvedere
your
is
sister,
gonna
who
do
I
it.
met, Ronnie, for the
Ronnie,
first
yeah.
time, we're trying to get her on the show.
We'll get
I
her.
convinced her. I said, because she was concerned, John, she doesn't know anything about politics. So when you come on, we're going to talk about politics. You talk about which is what involved in the program.
Tell
right?
them what she said to you.
About-
She's afraid of
yeah,
me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm just looking at all the districts.
Maybe we'll give you the week off that way.
Yeah.
Wherever you live, we need people to run for city council in Lowell. The city of Lowell manages to spend every red cent it gets, and when it needs more money, they just go and borrow it. The city is in debt. We're a poor city. I'm not saying I'm poor. We are a poor city, and the city council couldn't care less. Taxes are going up. Oh, we have to put your taxes up. Fire some administrators. What the hell do we need
Well-
everybody over at DPD? What the hell do they do? What does DPD do?
What are you trying to get Eric to call in again?
No, I'm just,
I'm just kidding.
So-
we gotta start, when people retire, stop replacing them.
So there's 8 districts, right? Right.
Yeah, plus
8
there's
districts.
3
Right, right.
citywide.
I'm willing to, I can't see, you guys would know more here in Lowell, but of the 8, how do you, Brooke won't have any, nobody's going to run against you.
No, you ain't touching
Nobody's
Danny
going
right now.
nobody's going to run against Sakari Chow.
Most people that I
No,
talk to,
Sakari's in trouble.
I don't think
Sakari's
anybody's
already
going to
got
run against.
Competition.
most,
Somebody's running?
Yep.
get
Okay.
back to,
Sakari's 7.
get back,
No, 6.
just go to
Sakari's
Danny's
6.
district for 1 second. When you
Go
say
ahead.
no one's going to run against him, to me right now, all I hear about is he deserves a second term. That's
Yeah,
what I'm hearing
yeah,
more about him than
yeah.
anything. And you know I love him because of what he's done
Oh.
for schools, but that's not why people that I try to talk to as many people as I can. And they say to me, "Oh, Bob, you watch him on the show?" I had a guy the other day, his last name I'll say, La Rochelle. He goes, "You ever watch this, Mayor? There's no more fooling around. You just say what you want to
Yeah.
say and move on.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about how he's basically was throwing a few out at one meeting. He's brought really good stuff to
Yeah.
as a mayor. He's doing a good
And,
job.
and a lot of people had doubts he was going to be a good mayor. And like I said, Danny, I've known him for a long time. Personal level, he was one of the best people treating my wife down at the court. She worked with him down at the courthouse. A gentleman to her treated her well. Where some of them down there didn't treat her that
Yeah,
well.
and I
don't
look at-
care, you know.
I look at Danny this way.
I'd do anything for Danny.
On the city council, I look at him different. I have to because I only worked with mayors on the school side of issues.
Yeah.
Never got elected to the city council. I lost that race 3 times. But I can say this to you. Having an Eric Gitcha on your city council has to put a lot of pressure on a mayor, especially Danny. I mean, come on, let's look at it in reality. Danny is related to the city manager. They're
Yeah.
they're cousins.
They don't hide it.
Listen,
Yeah.
no, I know they don't.
Yeah.
But I'm saying is,
Oh, there'd be a lot in the audience.
then you got a
that know
guy.
that.
Then you got a guy like Eric Gitcha. Believe me, the people that are in the know, the voters, like the political hacks, call me one if you want. We're all in the bag against them. There's
Yeah.
a lot of them that don't like them. But the people, Tom,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the people,
If
I
I-
meet him at Market Basket,
Yeah.
I'm wearing his hat, and they say nothing but love.
I can't.
Nothing
I
but
think
love.
not Eric. I think Danny, even when the vote for the city manager came up, he checked with the ethics commission to make sure it was okay because they're related, and he was given the okay. I'm pretty sure he did that. You know,
We got 2 texts, Bobby.
we need. Okay, Bob.
on,
Go ahead.
Tommy, I don't care.
Go ahead, Tom.
We need potholes. If we don't have potholes, we won't have a pothole crew. Even Hood has an ice cream named Pothole.
Yeah. But you know, the funny thing is,
That's true. People get laid off. No
One
potholes.
more, Tommy, one more.
One more. The city has a manager with no management experience who has just extended his contract and applauded by the city council. John, you shouldn't put up text. Or you want.
No, that's not for me.
you know, look, when they say pothole crews or people, it's just, you deal with the same thing on the schools when you look at your custodians, okay? Some custodians do jobs above and beyond. They do great jobs. They're security people, they're watching your grandchildren or whatever, and they're cleaning the schools. Some are unbelievable, but we lost a few. A Manny Silver at McAvenue.
What is
Bilby, hold on, Bilby,
Yeah.
40-something years from Centerville. He was one at the Maury School. They did, and they're gone now. But you wouldn't believe how clean they would keep their schools and how safe they would keep their schools. So when I mention Mike O'Malley, you start to lose the good help. They're hard to replace. And we don't even pat them on the back on the way out, I'm telling you.
Gratitude is not spent out on city's employees. The gratitude is just not spent
Right.
on city employees. Bobby, I want to back up a little bit. You
When I-
commented that the South Common looks great, blah, 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 and it does. But I'm not going to forget that Tom Golden told his police chief to herd, that's the word, herd the homeless to the South Common. That's the practice that's been going on for years. Our city manager, who just got an extended contract, told his police chief to herd the homeless to the South Common, ruining the neighborhood, ruining downtown. Nice job, Tom.
And
Everybody forgets that, and I'm not going to forget it.
you've been saying this for a long time, and I'm saying to myself, you know, if this isn't true, they'd be challenging John, and that nobody's challenging him on what they're saying regarding that. So
Yeah,
it's
you
got to
know,
be true.
you
Now,
know-
I wouldn't say if I was the police
I
chief.
got it. I went to a neighborhood, Back Central. I went to Back
Yeah.
Central neighborhood meeting. Great gang of people there. Twice, the captain said at 2 different meetings, they were told to herd.
Yeah.
That's the word that he used. Twice, 2 different meetings, herd the homeless to the South Common. Infuriating me.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost break time.
Yeah, we're going
Yeah.
to go to break.
All right.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Thanks.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the March 18th edition of City Life, the day after St. Patrick's Day. Hope everybody had a great St. Patrick's Day. We were supposed to have with us Selectman Tony Atchinsky from Drake, but he's a little bit under the weather today, so I'm sure he'll be in here in a few weeks or whatever. With me this morning is Bob Hoey, candidate for the school committee. It was great seeing Ned. You just said about Ned not being here. It was great seeing Ned at the breakfast the other day, so hopefully we get him back here soon, too.
Yeah. That's a good way to start your show right now, Tom. The bridge, getting to that party.
Yeah.
You know what I really love about Bob Cox? He doesn't put himself out there to shine.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He kind of sits back.
And he's a magician.
Rodney was the one out there shining. I thought Rodney did a great job.
Yeah.
And it was a good time. But Bobby Cox kind of lays back. He doesn't, and what I did, I want to say this, it was to basically roast Tom Shanahan.
Yeah.
But when I went up to shake his hand, I said to him, Tom, I'm here because of your ham. You got the best ham, buddy, at the Owl Diner, right?
Yeah.
And then he talked about my sister, Charmaine.
Yeah.
And he had 2 hearing aids in his ears,
Yeah.
He goes, I love your sister. I says, well, I got her coming on McDonough's show in a couple of weeks.
She's done wonders for my wife. My wife's deaf, and she's.
But she didn't want to come on last week because you weren't going to be here.
Oh, okay.
So she wants to make sure you're here too, and just a half hour,
Sure.
from like 7 to 7:30.
Yeah.
She can come in and talk about hearing
Yeah, but
aids.
then she has to be at the shop at 8, I think, where she works. Yeah.
So
Sure, that's great.
I'll have her.
That's great. And then we got to get Ronnie on, your other sister.
yeah, it's funny. She'll come on because because she's afraid to come on with me, afraid that I'll ask her a question that she don't want to hear. So, hey,
Yeah.
like I said, my sister's working, trying to help out Belinda Duran
Yeah.
for City Council in District 3. I'm for Dan Finn.
Yeah.
Tom
you said
Cassidy.
you said that a long time ago.
Well, yeah. Tom
Yeah.
Cassidy called in recently, text to John, and that scares me because
Yeah.
I know he's for gentry.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a war.
And again, do we know, is there a relationship? Is that his daughter, meaning
think-
Steve Gendron?
I think, don't hold me, but I think daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law, okay.
Daughter-in-law,
All right,
yeah.
all right.
And
all right.
I was a big fan of Steve Gendron.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Tommy, read this one, please.
Do the people in District 4 even know that they're in District 4? What's the voter turnout in that district? Yeah. John, do you know?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
We know it's small turnout.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
when you look at how query whoever put this district together, put it together to jury rig it, so it's difficult to run in this district. I mean, I've been living in this city my whole life. I know these streets. This is Paul Bouley's neighborhood right here.
Yep.
Beaver Street and all that stuff right in here. And then you got downtown, and then back central right here. So
Yeah.
it's a weird district.
Yeah.
Why did they do it? Because it's fun to
Yeah.
screw up the. It makes no sense.
You know who lives in that district? Hillary Clark. She was on your school committee.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like to mention her name every
she could
time
win in a
because
heartbeat.
she could win it easy.
Run
Yeah.
for city council.
Is
Yeah.
she still in the district?
I believe she
Give her a
lives in-
call.
Yeah.
She's a downtowner though, so I don't know if she knows.
Well, that's
the
what
way
makes
to
him
pass or not.
strong. That's why a Paul Bouley has a hard time because
Paul,
there's
and
no,
then Paul said, I knew it from when that other kid was Whisperway. What was his name? Brooke, the other Brooke.
yeah, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he-
Ryan with an R.
Yeah.
Ryan Burke.
Well, he
Yeah.
lives in 3.
He's a
District
Belvederian
3.
now.
Yeah, but he was in downtown. He,
Yeah.
he came, so,
So District 3 is going to give the city a lesson on how to vote.
yeah.
It's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
I couldn't even guess at the number. There's going to be a whole lot of people coming out to vote for that.
Yeah.
And you could win with maybe 10 votes.
I'm
Yeah.
encouraging all the grandmothers and grandfathers, pick your favorite grandchild that you think would be a good city councilor and tell them run for office. We
Hey.
need people who want for the neighborhood. These potholes we have kicking around town, potholes are all over New England this time of year. They happen. But the dip on Elm Street, they're gonna fix it in 2026. That they're building skyscrapers with no parking. And our city council extends a contract for a guy who has zero management experience.
You know,
You know who could win, but you say he has no interest. I think he'd win is your son, but he has no interest, right? He's got the name, he's got the
He's
fam.
got too much,
Yeah.
too much, he says he's got too much on his plate.
But I mean, he could win.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, if nobody steps up, I'll do it. Just for
Yeah.
I'll end up, because I know that the whole district needs better representation than what it's getting.
Dr. Ellen McDonough could win, too.
She does not like politics. She does not like, she
Maybe
says,
like my wife.
I asked her about it, she says, John, you're a big boy. I've never told you what to do.
Yeah.
The ball is in your court. I
Yeah.
want you home more than you are, but the ball's in your court.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you would win easy, but to me, it's just not worth it when you're a business owner. I don't believe it's worth it, especially the way you fight over issues. I just think you.
Well, Bobby,
Hey, I think what you do here, listen to me, this is, what's those, podcast?
Yeah, podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah.
This is a podcast.
Yeah.
His podcast. I think what you do for the people of Lowell, I've been watching you for quite a while. You're a pretty giving person, buddy. Believe me when I say that. And,
I'm enjoying my life, Bobby. The
Yeah,
Lord's been,
good-
Lord's
good
been
for
very
you.
good to me.
Yeah.
Do you know how many years you've been doing this show? I know you've been on CAP for a while. 20 years?
We've been doing this maybe 14.
Because I've been coming on 15 years.
14
so-
years.
Yeah.
14.
2014, you think it's... No, it was before that.
14 years.
Oh, 14 years, okay, yeah.
You know what I like about him? You see what he said? He said it on the show earlier. He mentioned the city manager's extension
Yeah.
contract. And probably his favorite city council is the one that did it. You know, that's why little issues can hurt you. Like I know bilingual education.
Yeah,
I never forget that on my life. It was something I run on.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you turn your back on that issue the way you were talking about it. You got to deal with a George Cooler Harris. It wasn't easy, but you're going to make a decision with your heart almost every time.
John, getting back to the show, did you say there was a suggestion from the radio station about simulcasting this on the radio?
Yeah,
Did you-
Frascarelli's getting tired.
Okay.
And Gary Francis, he's a good friend of mine. We talked
Yeah,
a couple of
That'd
days-
be a great idea.
couple of times on the phone.
that
and,
could work.
He's getting tired.
But do you think they'd go for something like that, the simulcasting?
Eh,
Would you want it?
I don't care.
Yeah,
I
You
don't
know,
care.
that's
See,
why-
I'm happy for what we have right now.
right.
And because right now we're on, we're on a Drake,
Yeah,
we're on a
yeah,
Tewksbury.
yeah.
So it's great. We're on a Lowell, and Lowell only puts us on for an hour. By the way, to my neighbors in Lowell, the show still starts at 6, but LTC says, we don't want you on at 6.
And the other communities are 2 hours, right? Drake.
Everybody else does 2 hours.
Tingsboro,
Yeah, everybody else does 2 hours, but
You know-
Lowell, we don't want you.
It's funny you say that. I like to watch your show quite a bit when I'm at home. I watch Cliff all the time and Linda. I just like watching it.
Yeah.
And after your show yesterday, actually, that next program that's on Channel 8,
We hate America.
yeah, We Hate America.
We Hate America
They
show,
had
yes.
they had a retired federal judge on there yesterday. Her name was
A Trump hater.
Nancy Gertner. She's a professor at Harvard Law School, okay? 17 years she was a federal judge. And she said what Elon Musk is doing is a coup. That's what he's doing, a coup.
Well, see, it's
I'm
the-
saying to myself, how bad can you hate somebody?
When we're dealing with the people who can't be fired, you got to be careful. A judge can't be fired. He or she can do whatever they want. They're never going to get fired. And when you're dealing with a government that you can't be fired, I listened to British, who was the woman British Prime Minister?
Thatcher?
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher. And so I'm watching a YouTube thing of her, and she says, the trouble with government is this. You have a staff, she says, I have a staff of 70 people. And when they sit at break and talk to one another, it's all about fortifying their position and caring less about the general public. And I constantly remind my staff, you work for the general public. You don't fortify your position, and many government entities out there will fortify their position, i.e. Tommy Golden's 45-year contract. They fortify their position. They don't care. Golden could just say, He's here for 7 years.
Remember,
Tommy Golden.
That's why.
remember, a majority of the council voted for that.
You know, that's why,
No one, I don't think anybody voted no.
yeah, 4.
Yeah, 4 voted no.
4 voted no?
Yeah.
Noon, downtown councilor,
Eric.
Eric, and, who was the 4th one? 4 voted against it.
And like, the late
But
great,
Corey
Bill-
Robinson.
the late great
Cor-
Bill Topey, when he was
Corey
here,
Robinson.
he would just be there, you need 4 votes.
That's it. You need the votes.
You need, he'd be like this. And he knew, he
He's
taught
gonna-
me so much about city manager politics, and Golden's playing it like a fiddle.
But
Yeah.
the council's falling for it. That's, when you see the council
Well,
is
it's
falling.
election year now. Now they're nervous. Because Bud Caulfield, God bless him, hanging around with Bud Caulfield for a long time. We used to work together, and he worked for the funeral home for probably like 20 years. He drove the limo, and a good guy, but I learned about politics. And he said, John, it sticks in my head, Bud tells me, John, the first thing that goes through a city council's mind is, how do I vote on this to keep this seat? What's the best thing I can do to keep this seat? And the closer they are to election season, the more they have gravity in their chair. What do I got to do to keep this seat?
So,
You know-
so if Bud's theory's true,
It is true.
no, if it's true, you could see, if the residents aren't happy with this vote on Golden's contract, you could see 3 or 4 councilors go.
Well, you see, Golden's banking on it. People in Lowell are stupid. They're going to forget this.
But you said it's near election
They're going to
time,
forget.
and we are
And you
near
know
election
what,
time.
Tommy, I'm not going to let them forget it. I'm going to keep talking.
Hey, I have a
about
city
this.
of Lowell question for you. Is there, you guys being residents, I'm not, water and sewer?
Yeah.
Do you get a break on that being a senior citizen?
You probably could.
Oh, no, somebody
If
asked
you
me
went
that. and I
looking
said I
for
would
it,
Well,
you
check.
you know,
probably
I could
could.
get a smaller barrel.
Okay, that's the other second question. So you can get a smaller barrel and it's cheaper? Somebody asked me.
Yeah.
All kidding aside, and I said, I'll ask these guys on the show.
Yeah,
that-
like $15.
Okay.
How come you haven't got new barrels after what happened to your barrels?
Well, the barrels, we had an accident out front here where the barrels got destroyed. And I just got to make time to call the city and tell them to come fix their barrels.
Oh, did they replace them or?
No, they didn't.
So the smaller barrel, you'll pay less for your trash fee. Is that what you're saying?
That's my
Okay, 'cause
takeaway.
this is
I've
what
never applied for it.
This person asked me, I said, I will ask my boys on the show
Because-
because I'm not a,
I'm an advocate, we need to get new barrels, but knowing the stingy city, when we get new barrels, they're gonna be half the size of what we have.
yeah.
Oh, everyone's gonna get a new barrel, you're gonna get new barrels. They'll be half the size.
Is your recycle bin bigger than your trash barrel? Because ours is.
Yes.
And would
it's
it,
gonna-
every other week
but
recycle?
The city doesn't wanna burden itself with our trash. They don't care about the parking. Sooner or later, they're not gonna, if it wasn't for the Board of Health, the city wouldn't pick up the trash.
How often do you have recycling? Every other week? Like
Yes.
Drake? Yeah.
Every other week, I think that's the standard around, I don't know anybody who has it every.
Now, can you-
Hampton does every week.
Wow.
Hampton does, in the summertime, they pick up twice a week in the summer.
Yeah, they'd have to probably. Now, as a business owner, could you have a dumpster?
We have one.
Oh, so, but you still do trash?
Oh, my God, the
You
collective.
still get, and you still get charged for, so you have no choice, and if you say, I'm doing my own trash, you have no say to say, I don't want to pay the fee.
I think I could save the $70.
Okay. All right.
But each one of the kids, they have the barrel at their house, so.
Sure.
Yeah, that's why, getting back to him running
Good.
for District 4, I don't think it's worth his while, because this show does enough, I believe. Look at how Eric Getchia called in this morning, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't get them all, doesn't get the city manager to come in, and how do you blame him? I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame
You
him,
know,
no.
that's the way it is, but I think he's better off just keep the show going.
Oh, I'm gonna keep the show going.
No,
Even if I become a city council, I'm
Oh,
gonna keep
that's all
doing the
right.
show.
That's all right. I'd like to see you put your name out there, but I don't know how good it would be for you. I
Well-
just don't know.
I'm an old buckaroo,
Yeah.
and Lowell's been good to me, and so I don't like the direction Lowell's going into. That's it. So,
Yeah.
has anyone asked the city manager why he doesn't come on this program and answer some questions? I've invited him. I invite him once a year. It goes to voicemail, and Tommy, make no mistake about it. Tommy Golden, he's a nice guy. He's just a nice guy, but you have to ask yourself, would you hire him to be your manager? Just ask yourself. would you hire him to manage your house? That's the question to you. Would you hire him to and the city council goes like, 7 years, Tommy. And $1,000 a day. We're paying him $1,000 a day. Plus bennies. What's the total liability for the city manager? You can ask any city council and they'll say like, I don't know. They should know what the total liability is for the city manager, but they have no idea.
You give you an approximate number, 250,
approximate.
250,000.
He's getting $1,000 a day salary.
Well,
Plus he's got pennies. He's got
they're
pennies.
saying at the end of this
Retirement,
contract, he
all
could
the
be
other
up
good
to
stuff.
320 or something. Somebody was trying to do some math. I think it was Eric. He could be up to 320 by the time the contract ends, so, because he's going to get cost of living, so.
You know, Bill Topia's name was brought up, and I'll never forget, I brought a motion up about why don't we open the bids when people bid on certain things, like, say, hot topping? Open them on TV. And I said, anything above 50,000, I'd like to see it open on live TV. And, no, I said 50,000. Bill Topia amended my motion by saying, why don't we do it for everything over $500,000? Then we won't be on TV all day long.
Right.
Well, I've never seen one thing ever opened on live TV, and we have many bills over 500,000. It's funny. Some motions might pass.
Yeah.
But do they enforce it? Not really.
Well, we're building a sick building. It's called the Lowell High School. We're building a sick building.
You think
The
so?
windows don't open. The people in charge, the city of Lowell administration, tell me that the air handlers will take care of all the germs in the building. There won't be any more germs. Well, I got news for you. I took microbiology, and I know a little bit more than the average about microbiology. And the city of Lowell does not know what maintenance is. And they have to change those filters. They need HEPA filters to be put in that system. I'll bet you HEPA filters aren't even in they have the clueless what a HEPA filter is. That's what we need to have in the air handling systems because the windows don't open. When a window doesn't open, direct sunlight can never get into that room. So whatever germs are on the desk, you would have to have an antibacterial agent to clean that desk with. And, well, I didn't know that. Well, you should. Why are you building a building that the windows don't open? But it's too late now. I stopped bellyaching about it because it's too late now.
Well,
The
it's
windows
just,
are in.
Yeah.
you can say the same thing about, air conditioning and maintenance. You mentioned maintenance. If you watch the city council, again, you need 6 votes, right?
Yep.
So you watch the city council, you got 2 people, Eric Gitcher, Corey Robinson, fighting real hard to form some type of place that can maintain our schools and our city buildings.
Yep.
That's not just a small group of people that we have at City Hall. They're just not equipped to do it. It's too big of a job. Lands and buildings is what I'm talking about right now. It's nothing against those people. They're just not qualified to do a lot of the work.
Sure.
You can't even put an air conditioning in if you wanted to at the Riley School, because if you did, the electrical system probably can't handle anything. It's a big issue, and I think we finally have a couple of councilors that keep working on it, and it's going to come. I feel good about everything in Lowell.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Finally, and not just because I looked at the South Common and it was clean the other day.
Yeah.
It was amazing how it looked. And I felt good for the Aldina.
Yeah.
It's just better for them.
He struggled. He was telling me back a few months ago how it was horrible. People were not coming into the diner because they were congregating down near his parking lot.
Yeah.
That's because the manager herded all the homeless to this neighborhood.
You can keep saying that, but if they call the police, they got to do something about it, right?
They do
You
a
can
good
keep
job.
saying that all you want, but if the
Well-
police, right? Yes or no?
Just
The short time
rolling back the tumbles on the clock here, okay?
He's not going to give
The
up.
city, rightfully so, didn't want to get sued. So they kicked the person off the homeless. The LMNOP, QRSTUE people that have the free lawyers, on this homeless guy's behalf, they sue the city for $50 million for kicking this guy off public property. and they lose. Now, you know how crazy the courts are, because the judges can't get fired. So, and that's not going to get fixed ever. So the courts are crazy. So, you know what? We're going to give this homeless man $50 million. Golder doesn't care. You just send the bill to the taxpayers. See, we shouldn't have kicked him off the common. And so Golden would rather have money come in he could spend to hire his friends. And I know I'll get off the Golden kick. I'm going to go over to the announcements, but there's near corruption happening in the city of Lowell. It needs to get fixed. Okay,
Well, I think, okay.
job fair.
Yeah, good.
If you got a kiddo that's in between what he or she wants to do with a career, there's 60 companies coming down to the Middlesex Community College Cafe on 33, downtown Lowell, 33 County Square, March 25th and 26th. They can become a cop, they can become a school teacher, there's all kinds of, it's all listed on the bottom here. Manufacturing, trades, utilities, this is really a good thing. Send the kiddo, or go over to the phone there, take your fancy phone out of your pocket, take a picture of this slide, and have the kiddo go down and investigate 60 different employers. Great career opportunity. There's going to be government job. You can't beat a government job. You get a pension. So go get a government job and then go on with your life. It's something to seriously consider for all the kiddos out there, for anybody. I need Tom, Dick, and Mary. If you're thinking about changing careers, make your way down here. They want you to register. So you take your phone out, put it in camera mode, and scan this thing here and see if you can register to go. So please consider this. Moving right along here, Eric Gitchie's party. Eric Gitchie is having a party Thursday, March 27th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Re-election campaign kickoff, fundraiser, Mount Pleasant Golf Club. Be there or be square. Eric's a good guy. Today is March 18th. Now, I was going to chastise them yesterday. I didn't. Don't you think they should have had corned beef and cabbage yesterday? Don't you think the senior center should have had, really, they had shepherd's pie. No, it's corned beef and cabbage
Well,
day.
you're on the board of directors, aren't you, or something? Or the board?
No, I'm on the Friends, but when I go to my Friends meeting, I will chastise them and I'll ask, why didn't we have corned beef and cabbage that day? Today, barbecue chicken breast, 7 days a week. Lowell can be proud of this.
Big
7 days a week they have lunch for the senior center. The only rule is you got to be over 60 years old. You got to be 60 or older. You can live in Timbuktu. We don't care where you live. Come on down.
What's that, the 20th, John? Dinner dance. What's that all about? Do you know? The 20th?
It's a dinner dance.
But I mean, were they
There's
just
no
a
regular
special
lunch. They're
event?
going to have it like at supper time.
A special
Later
event?
on that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun event. That's coming up this Thursday.
Sure.
And good time to be had by y'all.
Great.
So 7 days a week. So Saturday, Sunday, they have lunch every single day. Just go in the front door with your $2. If you don't have the $2, well, we'll feed
And
you
one more
for
question.
free. Go ahead.
On the 28th, what does traveling chef mean? Does that mean?
Well, we're hoping the chef comes in. No, from what I understand, there's a different chef that comes in that.
All right.
Any other questions before I move on?
Nope, all set, buddy.
Okay. Moving right along to the next, there's a health fair happening out in Tewksbury Senior Center. Slide up a little bit. Whoop, that's the next announcement. Health fair is coming April 9th at the Tewksbury Senior Center, 175 Chandler Street in Tewksbury, from 1 to 4 p.m. You have questions about this, or you want to be a vendor, be in touch with Susan Timmons. Her phone number's at the bottom of the screen here. And Tewksbury Senior Center, they do a fantastic job out there. Plenty of parking. When you look at the building, you say, where do you park? They have a gigantic parking lot on the back side of the building. So as you drive by, you say, there's not a lot of parking. There's a ton of parking behind the building, and you go in that way too, so good time. I go out there a couple of times a month. Danielle McFadden, we met her. I've known Danielle for a long time, but Bobby, you met her at the St. Patty's party. Mm-hmm. And it was a good time to be had by y'all. She's going to have a campaign kickoff party Thursday, April 3rd, 2025, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Mount Pleasant Golf Club. So be there or be square. Volunteers. So if you want to volunteer, you want to get involved with lovely Lowell, Massachusetts, volunteer, going to have a spring volunteer fair. It's a public event like Lowell, and it's going to be at St. Anne's Church, downtown Lowell, 8 Kirk Street, right next to Lowell High School. And it's going to be a good time to be had by all. Saturday, April 5th, 9 to noon. If you're interested in volunteering, they'd love to have you visit them that day. Talk of the town. This is happening out in Tewksbury. And the Wilmington Tewksbury Chamber of Commerce presents Taste of the Town. I went to this last year. It's at the Hilton Garden, which is on Andover Street, way out by 495. And all these different restaurants go there. You can sample all their food. It's a great event. And I hope I don't have a funeral that day, because I'm looking forward to going to this. 5 to 8 p.m. And if you're lucky, you'll see Mark Crapman out there. They got a QR code here if you're interested in knowing more about this. But a good group of people, the Wilmington Tewksbury Chamber of Commerce, and it's a very tasty event. Evelyn Thorin sent me this for Chelmsford. Chelmsford, the Center Elementary and McCarthy School PTO fundraiser, Saturday, May 3rd, 8 to noon. E-waste junk recycle day. When Evelyn comes, I'm going to ask her, do you have to be a resident? I don't think you have to be a resident. You can just show up and pay. So you can get rid of your TV set or whatever you want to get rid of. They have a QR code here. Take your phone and put it in camera mode. And when you, it'll give you a website. It'll tell you more about this stuff here. So you can, they don't want oil, fuel, glass, or plastic toys. And if you have a question, you can email them. It's down the bottom of the screen there. Give junk to give junk to us at Gmail. So they take questions there. Adrian Kimborowitz. Please join us for our second annual Adrian Kimborowitz Memorial Fundraiser, Saturday, May 3rd, 6 to 11 p.m. at the Bunting Club, 449 Boylston Street in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. And please join us for a fundraiser to honor our son Adrian, whose life was cut short October 2020 due to a senseless, cowardly act of gun violence. Our mission is to turn the tragedy into purpose. With your help, we honor Adrian's memory by helping graduating students at Greater Lowell Tech lessen the burden of college and trade expenses. So they're going to have a DJ, food truck, raffle, prizes. So yes, I hope you can make it on Saturday, May 3rd, 6 to 11 p.m. at the Bunting Club. The Megan House, they're going to have a golf tournament. If you want to participate at Megan House, they're saving lives out there. They help women who are have troubles, and they put these gals, they shelter them, give them good direction. It's a good organization. And so they're having a golf tournament coming up in June. So we'll talk more about this. Maybe I'll have somebody come in and talk about this.
Gignac, Bob Gignac would be the man. Yep.
See if we get Bob to come in and talk about this. And that's our last announcement. Back over to you guys. Hey, before we get rolling down the road, the St. Patrick's Day party that they had at Lindsay's, awesome time.
Yeah, it was a great
That
time.
there was like, Rodney Elliott said there's 425 people went.
Yeah.
And oh my God, the food was great.
Mike does a great job.
Every Tom, Dick, and Mary you could ever think of was there. Now, yesterday, St. Patrick's Day, drove by Kilkenny's. Kilkenny's parking lot was filled, so Ellen and I went out to the Tingsboro Sportsman's Club, and they had a feed bag out there. Oh my God, best turnip I ever had in my life. I know people don't, I don't like turnip. I like everything.
I love turnip, yeah.
I went and I deliberately met the guy who cooked the turnip. And best corned beef and cabbage dinner I've had in my memory. It was absolutely delicious. And Ellen and I, so Ellen likes to have a Crown Royal and ginger ale. That's one of her favorite drinks. So I got the Crown Royal and ginger ale, and I got myself a Diet Coke. $5.50 for the two drinks. Like, give it. So it was great. Then after that, I told her, I said, we're going to go and try this new gambling place at the mall. It's called the Nash, and It was fabulous. We went in there and they have security guards, the greeters, two goons, big guys. And but nice, come on in. And they answer questions, and really it was a nice time. We felt at home. It was a good place to go. So if you got nothing to do over the weekend, nothing to do later on today, consider taking a ride up to the Nash. It's free to get in. They give you a little membership card, and I think they gave her $10 to gamble on too. And nice place. Tons of restaurants to eat in there too. And so I encourage people to give it a shot if you haven't thought about it at all. It's a good time to be at. You guys want to talk about St. Patrick's Day or all? You guys good?
Like I say, I went to the Sports Zone in Drake. They had a great meal, not a big crowd, which we like. It was very quiet. By the time we left, we got there about 1, when we left about 4:30. It was starting to fill up, but it was not like standing room only. I think part of the problem is because Sports Zone is usually closed on Mondays, so a lot of people might not have thought she was open. But it was a fantastic corned beef and cabbage. Excellent. So that's where we went. So
And Bobby, you went to Kilkenny's, right?
I called up Dickie Barrett, the owner. I said, get me 2 meals ready. I'm going to Market Basket, and I'll swing through the back of your place. And I went to the back door, didn't even go inside Kilkenny's, and went home and picked up my granddaughter and had a great day. And the food was unbelievable. He always has the gray. I have a hard time with the red, but
love the gray.
no, it was a good time. But the party at the bridge Saturday, to me, was unbelievable for me. I got to
And what
meet-
about that great corned beef hash he had?
Lindsay's, yeah.
Once he had that corned beef hash, that was out of this world.
What a pleasant surprise
Yeah,
that was.
different. Yeah.
I was just happy because I got to meet Danielle McFadden,
Right.
and then I introduced people to my sister Ronnie that
Sure.
runs Project Compass,
Sure.
and then your relative there.
Yeah, Kerry Bomil.
Yeah, I have a great story about her, but
Yeah.
we'll use that for another time.
Yeah. But Bob just mentioned Danielle McFadden, and I went to her Facebook page, John, and she posted a day or so ago the election calendar. And you can take out papers starting on Tuesday, June 10th. Maybe you said the guy didn't know.
Yeah.
But she has the whole
No,
election
he didn't say
calendar.
he didn't know. I think.
Yeah. The primary's September 9th, the election's November 4th. She has the whole thing up there, so pretty good page. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll go on her Facebook page.
Yeah, because I'm going to reach out to her for coming on the show, so I will,
Please do.
yep.
I'll go and copy and paste that. Put it up. Thank you.
Yeah, now's the time to really start the campaign, or
Yeah.
at least go to the people that might have supported you
It's early
in the
till-
past. Well, once June comes, it's all beach. It's just the summer is a
Yeah, once
dead,
July
dead
Go
comes.
time.
down to the beach. You get.
Yeah, you can do that.
Bobby
You can-
Hoey.
yeah, you can do that too,
T-shirts.
but it's important to start early, especially just calling up your old friends or sending them a message and telling them, I need your support, again. And may the best man or woman win. I just was excited because Danielle come out. We had nobody.
And we still don't
Last
know if the two
election-
are going to run for re-election, do we? We don't know.
No, it doesn't really matter
Yeah,
now to
yeah.
me because we have Danielle McFadden to look at. She
Yeah.
should, in my opinion, which is just an opinion, should top the ticket. I'm pretty sure she's
Oh, yeah.
going to top
She
the
will,
ticket.
yeah.
So right now there's 3 people, Jackie Doherty, Connie Martin, and Bob Hoey for seat number 2.
Yeah.
That's all it is. If
Yeah.
we get more to come out, it's such an important seat too.
Yeah.
It's crazy that
Yeah.
we don't have more people coming out for the schools.
Well, let's just go back. Let's talk about Drake's elections that come up, and you on your same
Before
point
we do
about
that, we're
nobody
going to
coming
back the
out.
bus up just a little bit, Tommy. Read this one.
Don't forget about what it costs the city to clean up after the homeless who don't contribute anything to society. Jay.
Back to you, Tom.
Good point. And we have a election coming up. 2 incumbent selectmen up for re-election. As of last Thursday or last week, they were going to be running unopposed, but somebody pulled papers. School committee, we have 2 incumbent selectmen up for re-election. I heard I think it's 2 or 1. I'm not sure. This girl, Allison Volpe, is going to have opposition, but nobody wants to run anymore. I mean, I'm unopposed.
Well, what do you expect for free, Tom?
I'm glad that, well, as John Zimmerman would say, he said it many times, he didn't care, he didn't care if he got paid or not. And isn't
They're
Eric
not
the same
making
way?
How many? They're not making John Zimmerman's anymore. Bobby, Fred Jeffers, I'll put this one. Fred Jeffers,
Good friend of mine.
he's enjoying St.
Yeah.
Martin. He's watching from St. Martin.
Freddie just retired from the railroad. Him and his wife, fantastic people, Rhonda. He's a
I know him from the Pawtucketville days. He
Yeah.
used to-
His father was a fire chief, not fire chief, a fireman.
nice family, nice family.
And Freddie, I hope you're watching. Have a great retirement. We'll get together soon.
Wishing you the best weather, Fred. Thanks
Yeah.
for chiming in.
Yeah,
You see that picture that John just was showing, you can
Yeah.
see the Elliott School has a blue roof on it.
yeah. Is that the?
It's like ice and water
top-
shield. It's not
yeah.
quite as good as the Grace, but that stuff keeps the house leak-proof until they put the roof back on. But, yeah, it's an amazing sight yesterday, really clean looking.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, because the housing, you're on a housing authority.
Yeah.
Low housing, especially the Bishop Markham, they gotta change that. That brings a lot of problems there.
I was approached by somebody a couple weeks ago. In fact, I was down the Shrine, and a guy I know stopped me and he said, "Tom, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I had to clarify something because I heard you were saying some negative things about the Lowell Housing Authority, and I said, "I don't know, I don't remember saying anything." And now I remember what I said. I made a remark about how they should probably have more security down at Bishop Markham. That's what, and
Yeah,
they should. I mean, that place, and I wasn't a knock. It was just something and the guy understood when I talked to him. When I said to him,
Well, the good weather's coming back, and I just want to put this. This is a new building that the city of Lowell put up to accept 600 more kids at the Rogers School or the STEM Academy. This was the teachers' parking lot. The city, in its wisdom, we don't need parking for the teachers. The hell with them. They'll find a place to park. So now it's a real mess every day because there's no parking for the teachers.
are they allowed to park in front of the school, or is that a metered zone? Do you know? John?
Well, the principal, good guy. No parking is available because all the buses come up here.
Okay.
And the buses, no, this is the drop-off for people. This is drop-off. The
Right.
buses go to the front door. So you see a bunch of yellow school buses, they'll come in the front door of the, God, let me slide this up so you can see the driveway a little bit better. So the buses come in the driveway, so there'd be like 10, 12 buses that show up all the same time. It's pretty cool how everything's operated. Then the moms and the grandmas drop off their kiddos on this street. So there's no parking on this street, there's no parking on the driveway, and it's pretty well organized, but the school teachers, it's no place for them to park. City's wisdom. See, we have such a good manager that he decided.
So what will be your first motion if you're elected to the council? I'm sure it's going to be directed at the manager, so.
No, I'll probably just sit back and do a little learning.
Learning, that's what a lot of people do. I
Do a
mean,
little learning for the first month, but
Yep.
I travel with my mouth and it works quite nicely.
there is a learning curve. They always say that as far as when you get on. I did that when I first got on the housing
I gotta
authority.
get elected first,
Yeah.
and I have to run first. But I want a 40-year-older.
But you're not having nobody's reaching out to you.
Well, the grandmothers are listening.
And what about that gentleman we spoke, and I always forget his name, he lives over on Back Central Street,
Coach?
Coach. yeah.
David Coach, good guy.
Not interested, or,
Good guy. He's an old buckaroo like me.
really? Because he ran about 10 years ago, I remember.
Yeah, well, we were all 10 years younger.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think he was up there.
Well, I see David a lot, so he goes to all the neighborhood meetings. He's a mover and shaker in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
And I think he's enjoying his senior years.
sure.
But there's a picture of the district map again, so please ask your grandchild. 40 years, 30 years. Well, Tara Hung, I think he's 22. He's in his
23.
23 years
Yeah.
old. Good. That's what we need. We need young people to run for public office to make
Yeah.
Lowell great again. So back over to you, Tom.
Why do you cut out all the 50-year-olds up to let's say our age?
Because they're all drunk.
They're all drunk? Yeah.
So, Bobby, you
No.
shouldn't be running.
Oh, Bobby,
Listen,
really?
when I was taught one thing from 4 school committees that I was on, okay? 4 different mayors, like I tell you. And all we ever did was usually try to find a new superintendent because we fired one.
Right, right.
Over and over and over.
Yep.
How many times do I have to say it about Danny Rourke? Was it day one, day two, he comes out with a motion for Liam
Well,
Skinner?
yeah, yeah.
And then my friend Dominic Lay kind of flipped on the girls,
Yeah.
went with the mayor, and we showed approximately 1,200, 1,300 teachers, there's a career ladder in Lowell. You can become a
Sure.
principal, and you can become superintendent of schools.
Well, but we have counselors that don't know how to use the tablets, the iPads, glorified iPads that the city bought them.
Yeah.
They don't know how to use them. They have no intention of learning how to do it. That's why I think we need younger people as elected officials.
Okay, no, I agree.
Know what
We need
technology
all,
is?
to me, we need more people, let's put it that
Like
way.
this guy, I think his name Moran Fernandez, a nice guy, in way over his head. How outdated is the city's website?
Well, when I looked, you
How
had it
many-
on yesterday for Cliff, the school department.
Yeah.
You had it on yesterday, and I seen 4 or 5 things right off the bat that I'm against. One would be busing. We got to get away from it. One way or another, if we don't, we'll be in court spending millions, like the city's spending on storage water.
Well, Bobby,
Capacity,
I'll
whatever
go
you
with the
call it.
busing. I'll go with the busing when you can get the sidewalks cleared. When you get the sidewalks
Yeah.
cleared for snow,
Well, right.
we can get rid of the buses. These poor kiddos, do you shovel your sidewalk? Do you even have a sidewalk? Where would kids walk on your street going to school?
I don't know how I used to get to the Rogers School by hopping cars. In the winter, I'd be hopping the cars.
how safe was that?
Coming to school. I'm just saying,
How safe was that?
wasn't safe. You think it's safe in a bus? Would you
Well,
want
safer
your,
than car
let me put it
hopping.
this way.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, and be honest. Would you want your granddaughter in a bus?
She took the bus, didn't like it, now we drive her to school.
Okay, same thing with
But
my
I will
family.
tell you this, okay? Lowell's problem is we don't have seatbelts on the buses.
That is one problem.
Now, if you had seatbelts on the buses, the bus driver can say, okay, bus is not moving until your seatbelt's on. Now, if I have my seatbelt on, I can't get up and go yell at the girl in the back of the bus, and the girl at the back of the bus can't come and yell at me. Seatbelts keep kids in the first thing when you pick up, I don't care how old your grandkid is, the kid will be 1 week old, you got him all buttoned up on this little, looks like a little space shuttle. There's no possible way that kiddo can come out of that seat. If you hit a wall doing 1,000 miles an hour, that kiddo will still be there smiling.
Yeah.
And then they graduate to, we're not going anywhere till you put your seatbelt on. I don't want to put my seatbelt on. Well, we're going to stay here then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the cops will pull you over. If they see your kid climbing out the back window or standing up in the car, the cops will pull you over and say, hey, kiddo, put your seatbelt on. But in school buses, it's a jamboree.
Yeah, and the biggest reason is you got Massachusetts alone, right? 351 cities. Every one of those cities and towns have buses.
Why don't
Across
they
the
have
country,
seatbelts?
hold on, across the country, can you picture how many bus companies there are? To me, there's too much dirty money inside busing. We have to go to city doing their own work. Sometimes we should hire paras. Each school could have a couple of buses. We spend so much money on busing, it's going to go up. You want seatbelts? That will probably cost you another $2 to $3 million.
That's okay.
The taxpayers,
We
yeah.
have the money. It's in
No.
your pocket.
No, it's just, listen, and then the other thing I'd go after is food. Most of our schools are equipped with kitchens. I'd like to go back and cook our own food because I don't like the company that's feeding the children in Lowell. I don't like it. Never did. Didn't.
I've heard nothing but negative things about it myself.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They do okay at ULO. I think they even do ULO's food.
Really?
But like I said, I think they give better food out at Fenway Park than they do in the Lowell school system.
Yeah.
I always felt that way. You know, and a lot of things have to be done. A lot of things. The school is so important. And finally, I seen this Danielle McFadden come out and run.
Go ahead. Okay, you ready to go?
NRT Pooley.
Okay.
NRT
I don't know
Pooley.
who NRT is,
That's
but
the name of the national, I don't know, it's the bus company for Lowell. Do you know the
Yeah,
club?
no, I don't even want to pay attention
Yeah.
when I see that, so. I know we'll be in court with them sooner or later, that's all I know. That's how I feel, an opinion show here, folks.
Right.
I never liked the company. I don't like the way they treat us. I think we're being held hostage, and I think we need to have our own bus company someday. And we can do it. We could do it. That's one thing I love about this city, Lowell. It's a pretty good place to live.
I know when I was in school, high school, I took this. We got a bus ticket, but we didn't have yellow buses from Lowell High School. That's how I got to school by the MBTA. Back then it was the MBTA that ran at Eastern Mass, and now it's the LRTA. And I think the LRTA does the high school children. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they get the high school kids to go home. But
I tried to
I'll check
figure it out the
I
other
hope
day.
that Patty Kerwin Kelty doesn't mind I mentioned her name, but she just texted this in. I agree with you, John. We must engage younger people to run for office. I've been trying. And Patty, I'm glad you are, because we need politicians that are younger, that know how to use all the electronics that are out there. We need them.
And I look at, we just need people to come out that are going to support people like Eric Gitcher. Can't even get 6 votes. That's why I went with Dan Finn. No one's going to tell Danny Finn what to do. He's going to be an independent type of guy. He's not going to be led around by his nostrils like some are. And we need to get different people in there. There's no doubt, but it's not just going to be young people. They don't want nothing to do with it.
like Tara Hung, I don't know where he's going
Harris
politically.
coming. He's coming to the
But
show.
I mean,
Get
but
one.
he's going to be swallowed up down there at the State House, will he be an independent, or is he going to, I would like to see what his first few votes were, if he went along with leadership and everything. Colleen's one of the most independent voters as far as not going along with leadership. But it'd be interesting to see how he does, or does he fall in place with the rest of them?
Reading this text, great show today. Just want to give a shout out to Ned. Looking forward to his visit, hopefully next week. That's from Jim.
All I know,
We've been
Tom,
talking about the district races. Now, what about the
By the way,
citywide?
the prayers for Colleen Gary. Tommy, will you explain why we put that on the screen?
Because I read it, I'll go
Just
to
in
the-
case people
I read
weren't
it, yeah, we
watching
didn't
that.
see the first part of the show, so let me go to the Facebook page here that she, come on. Her sister put up please give me 2 seconds here to get it.
Take your time. We're good.
Okay. Her sister
we got 7
Kathleen,
minutes.
her
Go ahead.
sister Kathleen put up this morning, 13 hours ago, "Hi all, this is Kathleen writing for Colleen. Colleen said to thank everyone for their prayers and love as she is in the hospital. Special thanks to Katie, who is her niece, for staying at the house with her kiddies so she doesn't have to worry. Hopefully it will be a short stay, but they are not sure whether surgery will be needed or not. Keep those prayers coming," and she's got 247 comments on it, so I don't know what's going on. So, like I say, prayers for Colleen. I know I said to you, she's probably one of the most independent voters as far as not voting with leadership all the time. So, and she's there forever, you know. And district-wide we talked. What about citywide? We've got obviously the 3 incumbents, Eric, Vesna Noon, and Rita. Are there any candidates? Is that Sixto to Jesus?
Yep.
Okay,
He's
anybody
a-
else?
I don't know. I heard
Okay.
another name. I forgot.
Was that the retired police officer?
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
That could be
All right,
it.
yeah.
But that's why I say, that race there, I definitely, and I hate to be like this, but Eric's not going to be beat.
Eric will top
Even
the
though
ticket.
there's a group of people that don't want him around.
Of course.
And
of
the
course.
voting in Lowell is not big. You got to be careful.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
He's
that's
gonna
what-
he's work his tail off.
That's
you
why
know?
I say if anybody's listening to me about Eric, I would be at his party, because that's the best way to tell a person, you know, we love what you do, thank you for what you're doing, keep up the great work. I know he doesn't get 6 votes, and he needs it. He needs it. And that's why I went on a few things why I like Danny Finn so much. Number one is his family's done a lot for my family. They're like family to me. The Finns. Remember Mickey Finn?
Yeah.
Yeah, those type. I mean, it's hard to throw that out. I look at family a lot
So you
of
don't forget,
times.
and that's what a guy like you, Bob, you don't forget that stuff.
Well, no,
you remember
good-
stuff that when people were good to you, when
Yeah.
you were growing up. And
Because even like Corey,
it's-
we were supporting Corey last
yeah,
time.
yeah.
This is tonight's city council agenda that's on the screen now. You guys just keep, I'm going to see if there's anything we want to poke in
Okay.
here.
Well, last
But going
time-
back to,
Yeah.
and that's again, the council needs some young voters that are not going to fall in and get swallowed up by the whole institution of being a city council. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think Eric is one of them that's very independent. I think the city of Lowell's voters see that, and I have no doubt that he'll top it again.
No, and all I'm saying is this here, though, you know, when you
There
have.
are some people that want him out of there.
Oh, yeah, when you
Yeah.
have someone that does the job the way he's doing his job, they're not always gonna be happy, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
people that do support him, I mean, I know how
I
hard I
am
work for
sure
him.
there are some of his colleagues that don't want him there, on the council.
Oh,
know?
without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know,
What's
but
this
it,
wastewater thing they're gonna put at the stadium?
The proper department.
Private, this from Councilor Belanger, Corey Belanger puts down, request city manager update timeline for installation of wastewater tank at Collie Stadium parking lot.
there's,
Now,
there's,
wastewater tank could be a septic tank or something.
there's a lot of water issues in that area,
Why
though.
isn't it going down the sewer pipe
Well,
like
that's
everybody else?
wastewater, that's not water.
You need the mic, Tommy.
Yeah. Oh,
Tommy.
I'm sorry. That's wastewater,
When you flush the toilet, that's wastewater.
yeah,
And mine goes down the sewer. Where's yours go?
down the sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
So I
is
don't know what this is all about. Yeah.
So that just popped up. But please
Yeah.
continue, guys. I'll keep looking.
No, go ahead. We were just,
Well,
talking
I
about
like
the
that.
citywide race.
I like that other one, Gage Field, including addition of
What number?
irrigation, number 5-7, because if you ever go up there, especially after the rain we just had, almost 2 inches, that grass can get really high up there. Just maintaining that field is very
Well, they want to
hard.
put more water on it. That's calling for more irrigation.
Yeah, that surprises me, but
No, we were talking about potholes earlier.
Yeah.
And I did this purposely. Last week we were down in Connecticut on a retreat. And my wife and I took a ride during the day, and we went through the little towns and the cities around there. I didn't see many potholes. What's the difference? Are they like right on top of it down there, or do they? Because there are a lot more. I mean, people are complaining left and right. And I was just saying to myself, so I said to my wife, I said, there's hardly any potholes around here. And they get as much rain and snow and ice and all that stuff and salt.
and where was this again, Tom?
Down in Connecticut area,
Oh, yeah.
down around the Foxwoods area, the little cities and towns. We just took a ride one day just to do a little sightseeing, so.
I like what Corey Robinson's doing here. With the proper department provide an update on the status of the DPW cemetery garage. Rita Mercia told me she was going to do that too. So I'm an advocate of unexecuted motions should remain on the agenda.
Where is the city cemetery
Okay, the city
garage?
cemetery garage is,
A separate area?
you're going up Plain Street, heading towards Gary's Ice Cream. So you start at Target,
Yeah.
up Plain Street.
Yeah,
One of the cemeteries on the right-hand side is called the West Lawn
yeah,
Cemetery.
okay, yeah.
The city's garage is in that.
Oh, okay. Okay, I know where it is, yeah, because I've walked up there, okay, yeah.
They have the scariest bathroom in the world up there. It should be in a horror movie. That's how disgusting it is. And I told Rita Mercier about it. She brought it up to the manager's attention and went in one ear and out the other. And now Corey Robinson's bringing it up, and I think it's great. It'll go in one ear and out the other. And I should go up there and take pictures of it. And then just put that up on the announcements. And here's the bathroom at the West Lawn Cemetery.
What's motion
Terrible.
responses, motion B? Is that they want to do an online census instead of mailing in your census form, or they're going to send it? Do you see that?
We can all watch it tonight for sure.
My takeaway is this is questions they already asked.
Yeah, that's a response,
And these are the
okay.
responses, and I don't see anything about the parking situation. They're
If
moving
you're
it-
online, can you hit that and we'll read what it says? No?
No.
No, okay.
Down below it does.
Oh, those, okay, there we
I
go.
like
Okay.
that
I want
one.
to see the motion response. Which one you want to look at?
Look
Yeah.
at that one above, John, F, motion response for the capital plan for Riley School Gym.
There you go.
I like stuff like that.
And first, let's see how much blah, well, not a lot of blah blah here. First, it's important to note the Riley School does not qualify for this. Oh. This is due to substantial renovation, blah, 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 blah. In terms of the heating, so they're not going to do it. We don't have the money.
Oh, no, Ned, you keep reading. They're doing something. They're doing the
In
gym
terms of the
floor.
heating system, half the classrooms, univents at the Riley School were replaced 2 years ago. I would be asking about the HEPA filters. Are we using HEPA filters in that building to keep the air quality clean for our
Right now, there's
children?
nobody that knows more about that building than Eric Getchia. That's all.
Additionally, last year we replaced the boilers, pumps, drives, and updated the controls as the result of the maintenance that was neglected, causing premature catastrophic failure of the boilers. So Eric Gitchia was the one who made
Yeah.
this happen, and certainly not the manager. To further enhance the school's infrastructure, we are planning to utilize a portion of the 4.2 million LMNOP stuff, the LMNOP grant, to replace the remaining univents as a part of that work. In 2026, capital budget will allocate funds for the replacement of the heating water distribution loop, as well as upgrading the HVAC units located at the mechanical mezzanine that service both the gym and cafeteria. Zeroed in on the HVAC thing, I would encourage any city councilor to ask Mr. Manager, what kind of filters are we putting in that system, Mr. Manager? And how healthy will it keep our students?
Now go to that last paragraph.
Lastly,
on-
I'm pleased, who signed this?
There you go, what's that?
Who signed it?
The manager.
Oh, this is from Sean Machado. Lastly, I'm pleased to inform you that the gym floor is scheduled for replacement this summer, which will significantly enhance both the functionality and aesthetics to the gym space.
And it was dangerous. My granddaughter goes there. It was dangerous. But that Sean Machado, having an assistant city manager like that, I know that, I don't know him personally, but what I do know about him is there's builders coming back to the city, and they always tell me that this Sean Machado is the guy doing the
He's
job.
on the ball. He's on
He's
the
doing
ball.
a great job.
Okay.
Like
I
ball,
don't know
they're
him
on
at
the
all.
ball.
Yeah.
They're on the ball. Too bad they
So-
have a poor manager. Now, you guys
We're
want to
gonna have a drinking contest every time he says that next week. What do you,
do you want to, you guys want to, anything else you want to click
No,
on?
we got
No.
2 minutes to go here, so,
Oh, we got plenty of time.
all right.
Just LTC bunks us right off right away. Get rid of those people. So
Who's,
that's
Who's Joyce Dasto, John? You know, a council on aging resignation? Do you know her?
we're losing
Under
Joyce.
documents, yeah.
Honest to God, Joyce, beautiful gal. Beautiful gal. I went to high school with her. Drop dead gorgeous. I like Joyce. And, hey, she's got to be like she's probably 10 years younger than me. But,
So see, there's an appointment. You could probably get that appointment if you apply for it. I'm sure the manager would put you right on.
yeah, okay. Okay, no, Joyce, a great gal. So look, time's running short. So that's tonight's city council agenda. Sorry we're running out of time. Back over to you guys.
Okay. Bobby, great
Say
show.
goodbye.
Another great show. We'll see you next week.
Well, thanks for calling in, Eric. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Thank you.
And for everybody out there in Facebook land, I'm going to tell you who's on tomorrow. Let me go and look at that calendar and go to Google. Go to the calendar.
We had
I
some
think
fun.
Kim Scott's coming tomorrow. Yep, Linda Bound and Kim Scott, that's tomorrow, City Life. Linda might bring in a surprise guest too. You never know what Linda's gonna do. And, in fact, I sat with her boyfriend Val last night at the Tingsboro Sportsman's Club. So, hey, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.